Yeah, okay. Let me get back to.
How many screens do you have? Do you have one or two?
I have one.
One. Okay. So if you press the green button at the bottom of your Zoom,
Right now, my.
on the Zoom where you've got all the names of the 30 odd people that are online, there
Mm,
should be some icons in the middle of, is it a Mac or a PC?
PC.
PC. Okay, in the middle of at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the middle there is participants chat, react, raise hands, and then share. That's the one.
Is it there?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Is
But
that
it is
all?
not in share mode.
Share
It's
mode
not
now.
in share
Okay, all
mode
right
now?
then. Okay,
It
we
is
got it
now.
there now.
Okay.
You need to go to your first slide, but okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's advancing. Sorry about that. Okay,
Okay,
you should
good.
see my customer service is in my DNA slide. That would be my first slide.
Confirm.
You see? So
Right.
again, it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you, David, for inviting me to come again on this platform, which I believe is God ordained. There's so much information that's shared. So David told you a little bit about me, but I think it's helpful sometimes when you're listening to a speaker to know a little bit more about them and how they got to where they are. So I'm going to share briefly with you. In the on the slide, you'll see two people, and those are my parents. And the reason I have them is because both of them were entrepreneurs, and both of them were in the customer service arena. So we'll start with my dad. My dad had a sixth grade education. He had to drop out of school to work and make money for the family. There was a large family. And he learned a skill of auto reconditioning and taught it to his nine brothers. So the brothers had an auto reconditioning business and they were very successful. Now, where I come in is I was his only child and his only girl, and he took me wherever he could. So I went to the auto dealerships and wherever he went, where his customers were, and watched him service his customers. It's a lot behind that. There's a lot packed into it. But I'll tell you one thing. When you talk about marketing and customer service, my father's name was Flemon, Flemon, Anderson. And he came up with a slogan that said, if your car looks like a lemon, bring it to Fleming. And he had that put on uh, tape measures that he passed out to his customers and potential customers. My mom was a cosmetologist. And so my father built her a salon in the basement of our house, which was kind of unheard of back then. And she serviced the neighborhood ladies in doing their hair. So that's a short story of my parents and why I say it's a part of my DNA. I worked in corporate for 41 years. Most of the 41 years was in customer service. And before I retired in 2018, I was in the marketing area. I've been in church literally all of my life, but for the past 10 years, I've served in women's ministry. And we know when serving in church, so it's serving customer service. I've been an entrepreneur for 12 years, teaching customer service and leadership development. As David said, I'm a certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the Maxwell team, John Maxwell team. And I am grateful and proud to say that I recently launched a book, and it is about customer service in the marketplace and in the church. So that's me on the slide with a few pictures that tells my story, my how I got here to where I am. My business, the certification with John Maxwell. I am a Maxwell Disc consultant, and then now the book. So, delivering out of the ordinary results, customer service results. What does that really mean? And I think my screen is advancing on its own, so I don't know how to stop that right now. But I wanted to kind of break down the title. David, if you could just give me a minute, I need to stop this from advancing on its own. Um, I'm not sure how to do that.
David, if you can pause the recording. Ms. Harrison, have you managed to do it?
I think I did. Let's see.
Okay. We go to timings and untick the timings, then it should at the top of the PowerPoint.
I see.
There's
Please.
a timing and you've got the slides on whatever click or a specific set time.
Yeah, I thought I took it off. Thank you, Howard.
There should be a box beside it. And if you untick that box, and it should.
Is that the display settings?
No, it's not the display settings. Let me go into my point itself on the PC rather than on the, because you're on the Mac at the moment. I think it's under. Transition. It could be under transitions. Yeah, under transitions on the PC.
Yeah, I know I did it earlier.
So the actual PowerPoint, you probably have to come out of presentation mode. If you press escape, come out of presentation mode, go back into the original PowerPoint.
I think what I'm going to do, are you seeing my screen now?
Yeah, I'm seeing your screen. What you can do in Zoom is pause your screen. So it remains as is. Whatever is on the screen now will remain. It will sort of freeze that screen. And then you can do an escape and redo your presentation in terms of change the settings. Okay, doesn't matter.
Are you seeing the whole presentation?
Go to transitions at the top. Up. Where's your mouse? I can't see your mouse. Where you have file, home, insert on that menu bar, transitions. Okay. Yeah. On the right hand side, you've got a duration of 2 minutes 50. Auto. It says after 1 minute, Untick that box. The box to the left of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. So you advise. Yeah, that's it. So now you'd have to manually click to move it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I apologize to David and to the audience.
No problem.
It looks like it's still moving on its own, though.
Shouldn't be.
If it is, what I'm going to do is just go through the presentation because it looks like it's still auto advancing.
Okay. Escape again and save it. Control S should have done it.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's also possible.
No.
Go to slideshow. Let me just see something.
Do I need to stop sharing or no, you need to see that, right?
No, I was just looking to see whether there was anything there that go back to slideshow. Sorry.
Okay.
At the top. Just see whether there's anything ticked that shouldn't be ticked. Monitor automatic, use presenter view. Yeah, it should be cool from the beginning.
It should be fine now.
Yeah, it should be fine. Unless you've got something happening in the background. Click on the left-hand side from the beginning, and then it should start you at the beginning. Okay.
Okay. And you're seeing the delivering out of the ordinary?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you again. And I apologize to the audience and to David.
No problem.
Technical difficulty.
Technology always baffles us, don't worry.
Yeah, even when you think you're prepared. So let's look a little closer. Let's look a
Trust
little
me,
bit closer.
that's when you're least prepared.
Yes. Let's look at what the title means. Delivering out of the ordinary results.
Just a second, David, can you start recording again, please?
Actually, the recording has been on since. So, but I know how to edit it out. Don't worry. The only
Okay,
thing
cool.
is that it is still live and everything going on is going live. With
Okay.
that,
All right.
I didn't cut it. But
All right, thanks.
well, we can still go on. Yeah.
Okay. Ignore us. Claudette, please carry on.
Okay, so let's look a little bit closer at what the title means because sometimes we just throw things out, right? We say, this is my title and this is what I'm going to talk about. What does it really mean, though, to deliver out of the ordinary customer service results? So, by definition, to deliver means to bring or hand over something to a recipient or to an address. To
Just that
provide,
we can hear you. I think you need to get close to your mic a little bit so we can hear you.
is that better?
It is better now.
Okay.
Alf, you can hear her well, right? Okay,
Oh,
just go ahead. Yeah.
okay.
I have no problem in hearing her at all.
Okay. So to deliver means to bring or hand over, you want to say a letter or something that has been ordered, goods or services. Also, it means to provide something that has been promised or expected. What does it mean to be out of the ordinary? Unusual, uncommon, exceptional. And when you think about this when it comes to customer service, we expect when we purchase something for us to, when we give our money or pay for the services that we are being rendered, or even when we walk into the establishment or the organization's doors. We expect to be greeted. We expect to receive what we're paying for or what we're looking for or what we are expecting. But if there's an extra effort made, then we will say that it's out of the ordinary. It's not the norm. It's not the average. This is what we want to do. So, what is customer service? Customer service is taking care of a customer's needs by providing and delivering professional, helpful, high quality service and assistance. And this would be before, during, and after the customer's requirements are met. And what are results? It's simply the consequence or the effect or the outcome of something that you've done or an action that you've taken. So we're talking about delivering out of the ordinary customer service results today. So where does the customer service process begin? The customer service process begins when when the customer walks in the door. What is the door? The door is simply however they come in to take advantages of the services that you are rendering to them. The door could be a phone call if they're calling in. The door can be streaming if you're talking about the church. It can be your chat line if you're talking about your business. David, I'm gonna just stop sharing because it's moving itself. And I will send you the PowerPoint because it's gone to the end. You're seeing the end of the slide, I believe.
Yeah, we are not experiencing that from this end though. Then I just don't know how. But you can just go ahead like this, have it on your screen,
Yeah,
and later on share the slides with me.
I will do that. I will share it with you.
All right.
I was talking about how the customer opens the door. It can be opened through various channels. It can be telephone, email, live chat, social media, their physical presence, which is what you typically find in a store or brick and mortar or even in the church. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. It can be self-service options. When you're streaming, a lot of churches were streaming, especially during COVID, or even streaming now, David, through the Leadership Forum. When you're streaming, that also can be a door that's open because the way people are able to come in, the way they're able to receive the information that's given, can either drive them in or pull them in or drive them away, depending on how they feel when they enter that door. It's very important to communicate. We know that communication, customer service is all about communication, but not just communicate, but to connect. You want to connect in an extraordinary customer service manner. Here's a quote. When their needs, concerns, and feelings are taken into consideration during a conversation or a transaction, customers feel appreciated and valued. We want our customers, we want our congregants, we want all of those that we're serving to feel appreciated and valued. Question for you. How much healthier would your relationships be at home, at work, and even at church if you excelled at connecting, not just communicating, but connecting? I don't know if we're able to do it in the chat or someone can just answer quickly. How do you communicate effectively at work? What's the key to doing that? We can answer in the chat and talk about it a little bit later, or maybe someone can open up the mic, David or Alf, and just kind of answer. How
Okay,
do you
so
effectively communicate at work?
I'm going to allow people to, you can unmute yourself just for this session. Okay, all right. All right, so can you come up with the question again?
How can we effectively communicate at work?
Okay. So we can equally answer it through the chats.
Or how about we do this? They can put it in the chat and then we'll revisit it after the presentation and look at some of the answers and just maybe discuss them.
Okay.
Is that agreeable?
Right.
So for work, to effectively communicate, we have to realize that, first of all, we're all different. We're different in the way that we perceive the world, and we can use this understanding as a guide to communicating with others. That's a quote by Tony Robbins. So I'm going to share a few, not all that I have, workplace communication statistics to show how important it is, to show the importance of effectively communicating. Here's a few.
Do you still want me to answer the question or we just go ahead?
I think that would be good if you could. Do you have people that have answered in the chat?
No, nobody dropped anything in the chat yet, but yeah, so the question is how can we effectively communicate at workplace?
Yes.
All right, so this is my thought in communicating at workplace. Number one, you have to be careful with your choice of word.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, you have to consider the caliber of people you are working with. Having them in mind, what is their strength and weakness. And so what you are communicating with them, what is their capacity to understand or receive it? Very, very important. So you need to have in mind what class of people you're dealing with and what you are communicating to them and what is their capacity to receive it.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you. So you have to be careful with your choice of words.
Yeah.
And you also have to consider the caliber of people, their strengths, and their weaknesses. It's
Right.
very important. So you have to know people. You have to know your team. Have to know who you're communicating with and how to communicate best with them. Any other comments in the chat before we move on? If not, let me give you a few workplace communication statistics.
Did you stop the presentation or was it me?
I stopped sharing because it was advancing again, Alf. And even though we stopped it,
Do you want to send it to me on WhatsApp and I can share it for you?
I can do that. Let's see. You said on WhatsApp?
Yeah, you can do it on WhatsApp. So if you send it on WhatsApp,
I don't.
I'll pick it up.
Do you have his number?
I'll
Alf, do
send it
you
to
have?
David.
Yeah,
Send
so
it to
then I can
David and
share
send
with you.
David. Yeah, sorry. And then David can send it to me, or David can share it.
No,
If
I'll send
that,
it to you. I'll send it to you to share.
okay.
Okay. Let's see.
But the thing is, we are about 30 minutes into the time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's coming WhatsApp though, David. It's a link.
Let me send you hi quickly so you can have.
So can we just go through it and then I will send it to you and
Later. Okay. All right.
In the interest of time.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, though, for offering. In workplace communication statistics, 86% of employees and executives that were surveyed cited that the lack of effective collaboration and communication is the main causes of workplace failures. And that kind of leads, David, to what you said. You have to be able to communicate properly. You have to watch your choice of words. Um, or else you'll have failure in the workplace. Another statistic showed that teams who communicate effectively may increase their productivity by as much as 25%. You've probably experienced this, where there's a team that's not collaborating and communicating properly, productivity will go down for various reasons. There could be disagreements. There could be people just slowing down or shutting down because communication is not clear or communication is not favorable. 50%, 56% of the 1,001 people that were surveyed claimed that it encased work satisfaction as well. So communication in the workplace, and I say not just the workplace, but in organizations such as churches, such as other teams, work teams, communication is key. So I talk about well-rounded organizations. Well-rounded organizations are intentional about tailoring customer interactions and experiences that meet the needs of their customers. As organizational leaders, we have to realize that excellent customer service doesn't mean the same thing to every person. Meeting customers where they are is key. And that's what David alluded to as well when he said you have to consider the caliber of the people. You have to consider their strengths, consider their weaknesses. And in my book, I talk about different generations. I have 3 children. They are all in the same generation. However, their views of customer service is quite different. Um, some don't want, they don't care about being talked to. It's not that important to them. But people like me, as a baby boomer, I want to see it. I want you to look me in my eye. I want you to greet me and talk to me. And some generations, some people, depending on where they are, that is not important to them. So generations do matter. The question of whether your team consists of members of Generation Z, millennials, Generation X, and or baby boomers has an impact on communication preferences within the organizations. You want to sustain your customer relationships. I talked about the well-rounded customer service organization. What does that really mean, though, for an organization to be well-rounded? Have you ever been somewhere, a restaurant even, and you say, the food was really good, but the customer service was horrible? That's not a well-rounded organization. Well-rounded organizations are when 100% of the services that are rendered are done with excellence. So they're the ones that value and nurture strong relationships with both their internal and external customers. Now let's think about that for a minute. Most of the time when we talk about customer service and customer satisfaction, especially within businesses, we think about the external customers. But I'm sure you know, especially if you're within an organization or leading an organization or leading a church, you know that the way you treat your internal customers, your employees, flows out to your external customers. So it's very important. Who are your external customers in the church? It's pretty clear in the marketplace. Your internal and external customers are pretty clear. But for external customers in the church, who are we actually talking about? Are we talking about the people that are congregants at the church? Or are you talking about the community? I suggest that it would be the community. You've got external customers that you're serving in different ways that are looking at your church and how they are treating those that are outside of the church. Then you have internal customers. That includes your congregants, and that also includes your staff. You must treat your staff well. It's going to flow out some type of way in how they're treated. It's called congregational care. And one thing you have to remember in congregational care is that some people are coming to the church to be healed because they're hurt. We've seen that. They're hurt, they're sad, they're lonely. And the first contact they have with the church can either draw them in or drive them away. I have said on occasion that from the parking lot to the pulpit, there are different touch points of service where you can draw someone in with how you treat them and the words that you use, or you can drive them away with how you treat them or the words that you use. So we have to be careful when we're serving others, especially in our churches. Again, when you're speaking across the generations in the church, it's a challenge for many church leaders. Different generations have different ways of communicating. In fact, it's not even just that they use different words or phrases, it's more how they understand the world around them. So, if you want to speak across generations, you need to understand their mindset, their values, and interests so that they can speak, or so that you can speak their language in a way that they understand and can relate. I have a couple of quotes. The first is by William Butler Yeats. He's an Irish poet and playwright. And he says this: think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people. Andrew Grove, who is the CEO of Intel Corporation, or was, says how well we communicate is not determined by how well we say things, but how well we are understood. We can talk and talk and talk and make it sound good, but if nobody understands what we're saying, then it's of non-effect. Many of you may, or some of you may have heard of Peter Drucker. He was an Austrian American consultant and educator. And he says, what gets measured gets improved. Sometimes we are asked, well, how are things going in your business? How are things going in the church? And we'll say, oh, it's going great, but we're not measuring anything. So how do you know that it's going great? You see the people, but if you don't survey or ask people what they want, if you don't measure your statistics to see growth or decline, then you really don't know what's going on, how you're doing. So forward movement in congregational care happens when a supportive and inclusive environment exists. When you have that type of environment, all members feel valued, they feel connected, and visitors feel welcomed. So what you need is to measure. You need continuous improvement to perpetuate forward movement, and that perpetuates growth. The Word of God says in Colossians chapter 3, verse 23, and this is the ESV translation, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. And that's a good guide to go by. Whatever we're doing, whether we're Christian business people or church leaders, if we're in the marketplace, wherever we are, whatever we do, we are to work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. So again, talking about the church, and in closing, and what I'm going to do after this is to share the PowerPoint just so that you can look at some of the slides. David, I believe we have enough time to do that. The ultimate goal of the church with regards to congregational care is to create a more personalized and engaging experience for congregants. David,
Yes, I'm here.
is there an email that I can send it to, the link to you? Might be quicker.
The slides. I've just sent you hi on WhatsApp. Would that be better for you? Or
Not for WhatsApp, because it's a little bit more difficult to get to it from my desktop,
okay, so you want us to share the slides, right?
if we can. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
send your email address, David.
Yes. So, but with the email, I think you can equally send your email, so it should get it direct to you. But I'm sending mine as well.
You're putting it in the chat, Al.
Okay, I was actually sending it to your WhatsApp. I did send it to your WhatsApp. But I can equally put it here in the chat.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, so there you go.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sending it now. Okay, I just sent it. In the meantime, I know I went through it fast and we had some um, interruptions. And again, I apologize for that. But I'd like to entertain any questions or comments. And hopefully we'll be able to see some of the slides and then might be better able to um, ask and answer questions.
Okay, so Alf, can you um, let me quickly check if possible. I can have your
Hi.
let me see if it's something I can send to you by um, WhatsApp. So I do that.
How big is it?
Um,
Not
it's
that.
not. I'm not seeing it in my inbox yet.
Can I send it to you also, Alf? You're not seeing it yet,
Yeah,
Dave?
please. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
I'm trying to. For some reason, it's not in my inbox and not even in the spam. Okay, but so we can proceed with questions and answers. Whilst our speaker is trying to resolve this, tonight we're talking about customer care, and the topic has been delivering out of delivering out of the ordinary customer service. I have few questions here that I'll be asking the speaker for tonight, but until she comes back. So whilst you stay here with us, the question is, what lesson have you picked from tonight's section? We're talking about customer care. This pertains to all of us as people, as human beings, as church leaders, business owners, leaders in our various houses. Most of the times when we talk about customer care, our minds goes to businesses and things like that. But the best customer service that one can provide is how you receive people in your house. The reception in your house also speaks a lot and tell a lot about who you are.
Yes.
So this is not just about business, but this has to do with our personal life as well, church as well, and society, community at large. So what is your thoughts about tonight's section? Madam Claudette, if you are here, you can take over. Okay, Alf trying to share the presentation. So there we go. That is the topic for tonight, delivering out of the ordinary customer service results. It's a deep topic, and we all have to judge on it at this point that our speaker is calling on us to share our thought and our mind on what we think about this. And as I said, customer service is not only about providing service to people in shops, the malls, and others like that. People you meet on your way. The Bible encourages us to be nice to everybody. By so doing, you even entertain angels without knowing. It is part of the customer service.
Yes.
As you go into work, people you meet on your way, how you communicate, how you receive them, how you present yourself to them, they are all part of customer service. It's not about just rendering service in shop or anything like that. As we have our speaker here, please, you can take over. But when you are ready, I have a question that I want to ask.
Well, you touched on a very important point, David. I had included that even how we treat each other or how we treat people in our own home is
Mm-hmm.
important. It starts
Mm-hmm.
there, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't treat each other well,
Mm-hmm.
how are we going to learn, or how are even our children or those that are in the home with us going
Mm.
to know how to treat people as well? So it's very
Yeah,
interesting that you bring that up.
thank you very much. Right. Well, it's very important. I remember about 2 or 3 weeks ago was having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about growing up, how our forefathers, and our fathers, they used to group together, sit down and have a chat, to call it by the fireside, how they have time to visit each other. Even those days, transport was not an easy thing to come by. Some of them walk distant, but they make time to visit each other and stuff like that. And now that we have things around us that can make all these things accessible to us, it's even difficult for us to visit each other, call each other, and even render assistance to each other. We have our accounts, briefing well, but trust you me, we are not at the position to even give assistance to a neighbor or things like that. So you'll be asking yourself so many questions as to what has changed, where are we going, how we treating each other. They are all part of services that we provide. I remember very well growing up, my uncle those days, you know, little as you have, he still call people around and they marry. But these days, we are all in our rooms, in our corners, and it is even
Mm-hmm.
difficult for us to go out and say, my brother get this, my sister get this, and stuff like that. That is no more in our system. And it's making things a little bit difficult as to how we render service to people close to us, around us, and stuff like that. The mind is now centered on, even if I fetch water for you, you have to pay me.
Yeah. It's,
Anyway,
as you
I
said,
mean,
communication is quite different than when we were
yes,
growing up. I don't know if
right.
it's I don't know if it's different or we've just got a different way of communicating. We've got so much technology and phones and things that distract us from really connecting with each other. So that's part of it too. We have to be
Right.
intentional about communicating to connect. And sometimes
Mm,
that means putting things down to talk, to really talk and understand each other's personalities too.
yeah, yeah. Well, so if you are ready for the questions, I have one question that I want to ask.
Okay.
And okay, so we're talking about customer service, and this it work in both ways. There is one providing the service, and there is one at the receiving end of it. And it is always is that the customer who is at the receiving end of it is right. Either he's doing the right thing or not, but it is presumed that that person is right. Why? Because we believe that you are rendering a service and you need people to patronage that service. And in engaging people to patronage that service, you need to position yourself in a way that you can welcome people, either it is in a conducive environment or not, but you just have to accept it. Even if you are being slapped, the customer is always right. My question is this: where does the one providing the service derive or draw his or her strength from? Because in providing this service, that maybe people may oppress you, but you just have to pretend to be fine, and because service need to go on, so either even if you are being hurt, you need to put up a face to look like everything is fine. But at the end of the day, inwardly, you know that yes, you are being hurt by the attitude or behavior of this customer. And you know that what this customer did is not right. But you just have to say, yes, it is right because you want your business to go on. So at the end of the day, where does this provider draw his strength from?
So if you are representing an organization, I think is your question, David, the customer, we used to say the customer is always right until they can be proven wrong. And sometimes they can, but that's not our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is to come to an agreement on how we can work together to serve them and satisfy what they're initially calling or coming in for. So, in as a customer service representative or a congregational care representative, if someone is coming in, we don't typically look at them as being wrong, but we have to listen very carefully. And most times, the customer will, in their words, say exactly what's going on. We have to be able to get to the root cause. And then I used to always say, and still do, so how can we work together to resolve your concern after hearing their concern, because it will always typically come out in the words that they use or the examples that they use or in some kind of way. They're not always nice. It's not always easy. Um, but there is a way to do it because at the end of the day, most people just want to be seen and heard. And there's typically always an underlying issue for their anger. If we get to that, then we can resolve their concern.
Thank you very much. But to add to what I've already asked, will it be right or wrong for you out of customer service, realizing maybe the attitude or the behavior or the character of that customer is not something that has to be condoned, and at that moment kind of take a time out to educate the customer in areas of maybe the approach and other things like that? Will it be right that, you can, if I use the word confront, it will be too harsh, but in a way, to educate the customer, to let him or her know that your approach is wrong, or you just leave it to be?
No, you don't leave it. What I did not and will not tolerate is disrespect. And I've been disrespected in customer service. I was in it for a long time. Um, Called names, cursed at. And I would always tell the customer, I'm willing to help you, but I will not tolerate disrespect. And so there are parameters that can be set where the customer knows if you continue in this way, then the conversation will be stopped. There will be no conversation if there's not a respect. And so I think that's answering your question. Do you just let it go if they're disrespecting you or not talking in a manner that shows respect to you? No, no one has to tolerate that. I would tell my employees if they were being cursed out or talked very rudely to sometimes put the customer on hold, but do it politely by saying, Mr. Douglas, if you continue talking like this, I'm going to put you on hold and then I'll come back in 2 to 3 minutes and hopefully we'll be able to talk so that we can resolve your concern. But I don't believe, and some may not agree with me, that you should be talked to in a way that is disrespectful. Most times it's not personal, sometimes it is.
Thank you very much. So we are open up for question and answers, and I can see we have 26, 26 followers with us here tonight. So tonight we talking about how you can deliver your best in terms of customer service. Yes, I did mention that, in every aspect of our life, there is an aspect of customer service or customer care in it. And each and every single day when we go out there, one way or the other, we are faced with these challenges. And you hear people complaining, I don't like the attitude of this person. Oh, why is she talking to me like that? Why is he talking to me like that? Who does he think he is? Who does she think she is? And all these things do come up. What is your thought on it? What do you think that will be the best approach? For instance, you visiting somebody for the very first time in the house, and the question is, why are you here? Most especially, we hear these things when you kind of, they have a lady friend in a certain house, and you are going, unfortunately, you meet the father, and the question is that, what do you want? Why are you here? You meet all these hard questions. I'm sorry to bring this up. And then you feel like, why should your father talk to me like this and stuff like that? What is your thought on it? What do you think will be the best approach, that you enter an environment for the very first time, and you are met with these harsh words? What do you think should be the approach? What should we done? How can we bring love into how we receive people and how we welcome people in our homes, in our churches and stuff like that? I was watching a video where, an usher was trying to direct people where to sit. And people were hostile with her. They were not actually allowing her to do her work. And she would be like, come and sit here. I want to sit here. And so she need to drag some people with force and to say, sit here and sit here. Is it the right approach or not? What will you do if it is you, maybe going to a church and then an usher is also rendering a service? It's a benevolent service that she's rendering, but sometimes people are just difficult to deal with sometimes. What is your thought on this? And so this is what we are discussing tonight. What will be your best, approach to it?
But
This is funny.
I chuckled. I chuckled because I can address the usher. I don't know if
Yes,
I can address the dad that's protecting his
right.
daughter. uh,
They
but
suffered a lot. It's a
uh,
difficult situation for them, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, I can
Yeah, yeah.
imagine. But as far as the usher is concerned, that's what I was saying, because you've got people coming to the church that are hurting. You've got people that have been out of church, some since 2020 and have decided to come back. Various hurts, various reasons that they feel like they need to come back. And the last thing they need is for an usher that's standing at the door to be
Hmm,
harsh with them. And
right.
you do find that because unfortunately, not everyone has been taught or knows how to deal with leaving what's going on at home and not bringing it to their assignment, especially when you're dealing with other people. Um, in my role as a customer call center manager, I dealt with a lot of moms who had quite a bit going on. But I told them you can't project that over to your customer. Now, as far as the father and his daughter's intended in the house, I'm
Hmm.
not sure. I would just say if you want the girl, you got to treat the dad with respect. Don't 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 yell at him. Don't
Irrespective.
don't call him a name or anything like that.
Right. Oh, okay. All right. So yes, you are listening to us. If you want her, you know how you have to know how to talk to the father or the mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, most
If
of
you,
the times mothers are welcoming and mothers will even find a
Yeah.
way to tell you if you are coming for my daughter, okay, the father is there, but this is how you need to go. Otherwise,
yeah.
when you have a rejection from the father, you have rejection from everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Alf, so you
Alf
want to
has a
contribute. Can you unmute
Yeah.
yourself?
I mean, we're talking customer service. Um, in Europe, there's an adage: the customer is always right, and no matter what, the customer is always right. When rule one is the customer is always right. Rule two is the customer is always right. Rule three is the customer is always right. So you end up the point being you have to train your people if they are customer facing to face the public. I remember I've got several examples, whether in church or otherwise. It's inconsequential. The point is when you call up a company, right? And even if you know the CEO and the directors and the whatever, if the person on the phone that you pick up, right, is um, unwelcoming, for want of a better word, and portrays what you define as less than adequate service, you will dog that company. You will not consider that company for the business that you are bringing. And this is this is something that in Africa we do not understand customer service from that perspective. It is a service, Yes, even the ushers in the church should be trained to be welcoming no matter what. No matter what, whether you've had a bad day, your wife woke up on the wrong side of the bed, your husband was an idiot before you came to church, your kids were playing and you were late and everything is right. It's beside the point. The demure that you have to put on is that of Christ. End of. End of. No excuses. You have to. I'm sorry to use the word fake it. Right. I remember a story where, well, a true story, testimony, where a lady came to church. Right. This was in Europe, and she was dressed like, let's put it this way. She was she was dressed in very revealing clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And she came to church. And she was welcomed in the church. Right? She was welcomed. Come and sit here. Blah, 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 blah. What is your name? That is the first time you're coming. You're new to the church. Now, that lady was going through, shall we say, a nightmare of a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd been away from church forever. Right? Mm-hmm. And she thought the only place I'm going to get anything that's going to help me is church. And if they don't help me, then I'm committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, because of the way that she was accepted in the church that evening, right?
Yes.
She came back and she said, yes, the last time I came provocatively. I was coming to make sure that when I'm coming, when I'm here, then the people here are the people that of the kind of Christ that I understood when I was younger.
Yes.
Right. So you have no idea what is going on in people's minds or what is going on in their psyche or what problems they're having. And once you start making judgments, for want of a better word, you're literally not only making those judgments, but you're also condemning them potentially.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I've made calls to, for instance, when I was in Holland, I was making calls to find a surgery, a doctor's surgery for my GP.
Mm-hmm.
And the person on the phone was being an absolute, excuse my French, prat. Right? I'm like, there is absolutely no way I'm going to that doctor's surgery. Now, I heard they were the best in the area. I heard they treated expats like, gold. I mean, I heard very good news about them. But when I spoke to the person on the phone, I'm like, there is absolutely no, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm calling you up for your business,
Mm-hmm.
and you're treating me like this.
Yeah.
So what happens when I have a dire emergency or I need something from the surgery and I have to speak to you? Is this how you're going to treat me? I'm not paying for that. Sorry, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. So these are all little things that we have to learn, that when you're working in these environments where you're customer facing,
Mm-hmm.
right? You might be the first and last point of contact with that customer, and it may be you that may bring in the millions, and maybe you don't know it, or it may be you that will turn away those millions.
Yeah.
But if you don't if you don't train your customer service or your customer facing staff,
mm-hmm.
you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's my experience. That's my opinion, and that's the way I've seen it. There are some shops that you won't go to because the way the people react in the shop is just like, forget this. I don't. You want my custom, you want you want the money in my wallet, but your service is absolute pants.
Yeah.
You don't go there. Yeah, I can get this from somewhere else. I can even get it nowadays. You can even get it sit at home and get it online.
Yeah.
I'm doing you you don't realize that I am doing you a service by coming to your shop, for
Yeah.
crying out loud.
Yeah.
So that would be my opinion on it, whether in church or whether in a commercial store or whether they're providing a service or something like that. In Africa, we have to wake up, especially in Ghana, in terms of that customer service outlook, because we don't have that sense of we are providing a service. We work in a completely different way.
And
So
I
that would
totally I agree with you, Al. Thank you for sharing that. And it's interesting that in both the situations that you named, with the lady that came to the church dressed provocatively and in calling the doctor or surgeon, both were situations where people were hurting and in pain. And in those situations, love is what's going to win them over, or being treated like a human being, no matter how they're dressed or how anything occurs. As you said, the customer facing employee or the usher or the parking lot attendant has to know how to treat people. They need to be trained. So I totally agree with you in that.
Yes, Alf, I also agree with you, but I think the point for discussion here most largely the question I asked was, we know the customer is always right. Number one, customer is right. Number two, customer is right, and everything customer is right. Yes. We are all human beings trying to take care of each other. Either the customer put gun on you, he or she is right. Now, you the one providing the service, where do you draw your strength? Because at the end of the day, you will be hurt. And so it is the case of leaders. And several times we talk about leaders over here and leaders and how leaders need to conduct themselves to ensure that you lead the team, you keep the team moving, you having followers and things like that. But in their closet, they also cry. So you as the leader, one way or the other, there is a character among the people that keep hurting you. There is a behavior, there is something that keep hurting. There is something that is not coordinating, that is something that is not connecting well. At the end of the day,
carry
at
on.
the end of, go ahead.
No, carry on. No, you finish.
Yeah,
Finish
so
what
at the end of the day, you as the leader, you as the one providing the service, how then do you come out of these traumas? Because there are some of them that are traumatic and it is difficult to handle. So where is your strength? How do you conduct yourself? How will you be able to assemble yourself to take care of this? And after that, how do you now put yourself together? These are the questions that we're trying to get clarity on, because in as much as the customer is important, you are also important as well. So how do you manage the two?
it's I don't know whether this question is for me or for Claudette, but I'm sure we can complement each other in the response.
It's for you as well.
Okay. Um, you're mixing one or two things up. One is the customer and one is the leader, right? Now, the customer can be a right pain in the backside, right? It doesn't matter whether the customer is a pain in the backside today, tomorrow, and forever. At the end of the day, you have one aim, one objective. That one is to provide the service that you said you provide contractually or otherwise, and you have to provide it. You have to go and cry your own cry somewhere else. It's whether you go and do counseling or whatever because you've had a traumatic experience. That is not the case. As a leader, when you have, shall we say, staff, employees, counterparts that are being a royal pain in the proverbial. That's a different scenario. You have to determine what is the trigger that's causing this person to be like that person is. When I was working in the European Space Agency, my bosses were very considerate, very understanding. And I think I worked there for longer than I should have worked up there because of them. Right? Their attitude towards me, their attitude towards their staff, how they worked. That is why I probably stayed there longer than maybe I would have changed jobs. Right? There are other jobs where in my earlier years where I thought my boss was an absolute pillock, and therefore, would I stay there? And no, I changed jobs. Right? So you as the boss or the leader have to go and cry somewhere else. But your attitude towards your staff, your attitude towards your people has to be tailored, right? You have to be firm when you have to be firm. If there's an issue, is it a family issue? Is it are their children okay? Are they in school? Do they have money issues, especially in Ghana? I mean, the way you address it, you have to really look into the why is this person like this. I need you and you have to do assessments, and the assessments should be equal for everyone, right? And if you don't have regular assessments, whether that is quarterly, half yearly, yearly, then you don't know where that person is at. Now, if that person is looking after their partner, and their partner has got maybe a terminal illness, or their child is struggling in some area of their life, right? And they're thinking about that rather than thinking about the job, then there is potentially there can be potentially be a problem, right? I'm sure Claudette, with her experience with her father, going around the various sales and meeting various, sales representatives who then have to sell stuff to people. As I was at a service at Kensington Temple this morning, and the pastor, the visiting pastor from California, was talking about how he went to Costco's, which is a big shop that Claudette probably knows in the States, but is also in the UK. And he went with his wife to, carry the stuff, right? As he was leaving, there was a barbecue kind of stall there, and the guy walked up to him and said, "Oh, how would you like a barbecue, blah, 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 that you just put the meat on, 5 hours later, everything is ready." And he said, "Look, I'm not interested." He said, "Yeah, but look, if you are," and at the end, the guy walked out of the shop with a $500 barbecue, all grilling, all dancing, blah, blah. And then when he had made the deal, the guy approached him, shook his hand, and said, "Welcome to the Make family," right? The Terug or something family, right? Now that made the customer, even though he didn't walk in there expecting to spend $500, feel in a way, feel some way, for want of a better expression, right? It made him feel some way, welcomed. It was a useless barbecue thing. And then when he called up a couple of years later, one of the casters, wheels at the bottom had broken. He called up, "Oh, you are Mr. Tom, blah, blah." "Oh, yeah. Oh, welcome. Thank you very much for calling us. Thank you for being part of the family. How can we help you today? Right now, the lady on the other side, right, who's saying all this is like, she might have had the most horrible day in her life. Is that the point? This is who you bought this at this time at this place. Oh, you're still under warranty. We'll send you a new one, a new caster in the next couple of days. Is that okay, sir? Right now, you're like, oh man, this is such a good company. But you don't know what's going on behind what you call. It's like this, like we say in Europe, the swan is paddling like nobody's business. The feet are going and is moving smoothly through the water. It looks so graceful when it's going through the water. So these are some of the things that we have to, as leaders, step back, right, and take our, whoever, excuse my French, annoyed me today, didn't annoy me, did this, did that. Take our personal rubbish out, whether our boss has even annoyed us and we have got to go and tell. We've got to dissociate from those kind of stuff and still smile. As I don't know whether you've ever watched what's this Madagascar, the cartoon movie, right, with the penguins. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. And sometimes that's what you gotta do. If you watch that movie, you'll see that the penguins know the guys who are coming to see them in the zoo. And no matter what rubbish is going on, it's smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. They're going to sort out the stuff behind the scenes, but everything else, customer facing, smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. And this is some of the stuff that we as leaders have to deal with. We need to know who our counterparts are, who our colleagues are at our level, so that if we need to go and talk, we can go and talk to them and say, how do I deal with this situation?
Yeah.
You should have people that surround you, that support you, that know more or less what you could be potentially going through. And so that when you start talking, you need somebody that people around you that are, shall we say, the word is accountable, that are accountable to you and you're accountable to them, so that you can go to them and tell them, look, this is what's happening. How do you think I should deal with this? Various people give you different types of advice. You have to weigh it up in your head, in your mind, come to a solution, pray about it, work on it, understand the root cause, and then come back smiling, whatever the case is. So that's what I could say to answer your question. But Claudette, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you. Good advice, Alf. David, I think the difference in what you're asking too is when you're dealing with your team, it's a little bit different because, like Alf said, you one have to know the personality of your team member, especially the one that is not acting according to how they should with the customers or with their coworkers. A lot of times there's something wrong, but it takes talking with them if you can, but knowing how to communicate with them as well. I'm the type of person, my personality is that if you come at me with words like this, I'm not going to respond favorably. Some people do. And so, as a leader, if you've got a situation where one of your employees or one of your staff members is being rude or whatever, I would say start with trying to understand what's going on with them, have a one-on-one conversation with them, and then establish guidelines and rules. I don't know if that answers your question, David. It's a little bit different with your staff and your team members than your external customers.
Thank you very much. It does answers my question. Well, so time is far gone, and Prof. PK is here with us, and I want to give him, he's our senior when it comes to
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And so I want to give him the opportunity to also share his thoughts, and then we will draw the curtains for tonight. So, Prof, if you can hear me and you are truly connected with us, please kindly unmute yourself. We want to hear you on these subjects. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, David and Claudette. Thank you very much for your presentation and all those who have contributed, including Alf. Yeah, customer service is a very important area of business. In a world with so many suppliers of the same substitutable goods, getting customers is not easy. And therefore, the way to success is to be able to develop a service for the customer. Everybody can provide whatever you provided. If it's a product, if it's a service, there are many providers of the same thing, substitutable. So how are you going to get the customers to yourself if you are producing the same thing or selling the same thing that others are doing? And it comes down to customer service. You provide a service to the customer to make the customer feel like every time I need this service or I need this product, this is the person I need to go to. Even though I can get substitutable products elsewhere, I'm going to go to him or go to her because I get value. And the value is not just the product, but other things like the way it's delivered, the way it's packaged, the way you are treated, after sales service. If you've got a problem with a product, will they respond to you? How quick will they respond, and so forth and so on. So that has become the way of computing in this world where there are so many suppliers of the same product. And there are two types, as Claudette said. We've got internal customers and external customers. Internal customers are people in the same church or people in the same organization. For example, if you take a bank, the IT department people, they service the frontline cashiers. So if a customer comes and a customer comes to a cashier and wants information from the cashier is not in the IT department. So the cashier has to contact the IT department. They get information for the customer. So the IT department is actually an internal customer to the cashier. And they all have to understand themselves in order to actually serve the external customer, which is the saver or depositor or lender or borrower who has come to the bank. So customer service is important. And all of us, who want to go into business, even those of us who teach, we need to deliver the service in such a way that, every time a company wants somebody to train their managers, they come to you because they can always get PhD people everywhere. But how you deliver, how you relate to the managers and so forth and so on will determine if you get a business and repeat business. So thank you very much. And thank you, David, for putting this together. Unfortunately, we had technical issues, so maybe we can arrange for Colette to come again some other time in the future when the technology is set up right, and then we can have it again. Thank you very much, and good evening.
Thank you, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. My sister, do you have anything you want to add to what Prof has shared, or that's cemented?
No, that's cemented it. Thank you again,
Okay.
Prof. Okay, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, okay. Well, it has been a wonderful evening. As Prof said, we had some technical challenges, but I think this has been one of the best topics that we've treated beginning of this year now. We entering into the second quarter of the year, but I think customer care service, is essential to everything regarding, everyday movement and pertaining to life. Customer care, as I said, driving in how, we deal with each other in the home and others like that. There is customer care service in everything that we do, even on the road when we are driving. Sometimes you realize that somebody just crossed you unexpectedly, and if you are not careful, what will come out of you is a different thing altogether. But out of customer care service, you will realize that no, there is something wrong somewhere. Just like Av did said, when the lady walked into the church,
Yeah.
if the church, as usual, she will walk that lady out, that would have been the end of that lady. But they realized there is something wrong somewhere, so they did the needful by accepting her, and that is what the church is being set up for.
Yes.
So we have to be careful with all these things as we go out, how people will speak to you, how people will approach you and stuff like that may not be the same way that you will approach others, but by wisdom we will be able to handle, above, in our level, below our level, and we will work with all of them and to make the whole world a peaceful place for us to live in. So you are with us here this evening on the David Ddouglas weekly leadership series. Next week, we will be coming your way again with a different topic. I won't be able to give you the topic for next week. I have it, but then where it is right now, I'm using that gadget. But our speaker for next week is Dr. Millie Tuches. She'll be speaking again from the USA. We have Mrs. Claudette also reaching out to us from the USA. We're looking forward coming home because it's like we've been away for a very long time, and having international speakers only talking. And sometimes people keep asking questions. David, are you bringing international speakers, but some of them don't understand our culture and how things, work here in Ghana. Why don't you bring in the local content? I'm not here to address your issue, but what I want to say is we need to have a blend of it. So we will do as well to come home. We will fetch some of our speakers here in Ghana, bring them into the topic, leadership, customer care service, personal development, and others like that. We will see how we can blend it with the international speakers and the local speakers we have. I'm very careful when I'm using the word local because one of my seniors told me the word local is intimidating somehow. So domestic. But the domestic is also heavy for me to use at this point. So in bracket, I will say local. So we will have a blend of it going forward. So make time with us if you have any contribution, just like other people reach me behind a closed door to say, we think if you go about it this way, it will be right. When you do it this way, it will be right. We are open to advice. We are open to people telling us how this platform is being run. Is it the best way? Is it not the best way? Because without that contribution, we might think we're doing the right thing, but we're not. So please feel free, tell us what you think about it. The platform is free. It is here to help all of us. Nobody is paying for it. Maybe I have to ask Mrs. Claudette to send you, the job card. When you receive that card, you will know how much she charges people to speak. That will tell you if you want to engage her service, you will be paying tens of thousands of dollars. But tonight she is here with us free of charge just because she wants to add value. She wants to contribute. So it's a great opportunity for us to make time, meet with these people. Prof. PK is here with us. I remember the last time when I was trying to engage him, he said, David, my 1 hour is about $1,000. So calculate 1 hour by 5 hours or 6 hours, and you know how much you are paying. But Prof is here with us every Sunday. And these are people that can give us free advice, technical advice, pertaining to our life, business, and everything in life. We have this opportunity here on this platform. You are not paying anything for it. Neither are we charging anybody for it. Make time, join us. Let us learn together, to make the world a better place for all of us. So next week we will be meeting. I just want to use about 2 minutes to talk about our upcoming event, which is in July, August. And this is Agri-Tour Art Festival and Global Leadership Award. In short, we say AGA Festival. So One aspect that I want to talk about tonight has to do with the tour aspect of it. You know, Africa, we are not getting much, or we are not getting value from our tourist site. And I think it is important for us as individual to sell or to project this in the international level, for people to get to know, what we have to offer when it comes to tourism. And Ghana has a beautiful tourist site that most people don't know about. And the diaspora, most of the times when they visit Ghana, the only place they thought about is the Cape Coast Castle. Yes, it's a place that everybody need to go, because that is the gate of no return, where a lot of people pass through to Western. And so when you come back home, you want to visit there and to know what is going on in those areas. But there are other beautiful tourist sites in Ghana, which this event is bringing to us. It's going to be a 6-day tour, heritage tour to these places. And we've made a beautiful package for you. And in this package, we are taking care of your food, your breakfast, we're taking care of your lunch, and we're taking care of your dinner. We're taking care of your transport. We're taking care of your hotel. They are all in this package, and we will move from Accra to the central region, to the Ashanti region, to the Upper East, and come back. So you can imagine. And so this is just something small we are charging you. It is 7,500 cedis, the full package, for you to be on board. The moment you pay these 7,500 cedis, you don't need to pay anything, nothing again. We will take care of your water, we take care of your food, we take care of your accommodation, we take care of your transport and everything. And we will shuttle you from Accra to the central region, Cape Coast to be precise. We go into the Ashanti region, we will be meeting with the Ashanti Hene, so we go into the Mansia Palace. We will move from there to the Upper East and then come back. So if you are hearing me tonight and you want to be part of this, go to our website, www.ddlforum, and register today. If you don't want to go and register at the website, you can also contact me. My number is +233 243 393121. Join this heritage caravan. You will discover a lot about Ghana, and you will discover a lot about our regions, and you will discover a lot about culture and heritage. We are here to serve you. So this will take place between the month of July and to August. We're having the diaspora coming in their numbers. So make time to join us. So until we meet again next week, we will say peace, shalom unto you. Thank you all for your time being here with us every Sunday. I believe we are learning something, because I keep saying we are not just meeting here, but we are here to learn. And that is why you contributing, me contributing, very, very important. That is the only way we can get to know that you are learning something and everybody is learning something. So we meet again here next week, and our speaker, as I said, will be Dr. Mili to chess. Thank you. Have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on your geographical location. At this point, we will end it here. Thank you all.
Thank you, David. Good night,
Thank you, my dear sister. Pleasure to have you back.
Thank you.
We will be going back to back now.
Yes.
We are resuming fully.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, quickly, let me also mention this before we go. If you want to follow, up with our speaker tonight, she has shared her informations in the chat box. Oh, okay, this is rather coming from Michael. Okay, yes, so we also have Mrs. Claudette's website, which is www johncmaxwellgroup.com. Okay, so this is where they can get your information, and they can also go to, you can write to her through CSSO, so okay, CS Solutions at yourservice.com. So if you want to follow our speaker tonight, this is where you can follow her. Her informations are there. You can copy it. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. YouTube is the David Douglas Leadership Forum. Facebook, David Douglas Leadership Forum. IG, David Douglas Leadership Forum. And TikTok is David Douglas Leadership Forum. TikTok, we are live every day between the hours of 9 to 10. I'll be sharing the chat with us next week. I know our technical man is here with us, sharing some informations. But TikTok, we are live every day, and then we keep talking about some technical areas when it comes to leadership. And so some of our speakers that you might miss them on Sundays. During the week, we will be bringing some of them on our live TikTok, and they will still be sharing informations regarding leadership with us. So make time, follow us on our social media platform if you wish, share them, engage more people. Let us grow this community together. We thank you all for your time, and God
David,
bless you.
if I can add, my book is on Amazon. It's under my name, Claudette Harris, and it addresses what we talked about today.
Okay. All right. Okay then. All right. So thank you all. Have a good afternoon. I know it's about 4 p.m. now, your time.
Almost 5.